2020 has been a long, relentless year, and that right there would be an understatement. It brought not just a global pandemic, but the next generation of consoles, the release of Cyberpunk 2077, and the disaster that sadly followed it. Now, it wasn't all bad, as we got the KF console, which is a hilarious light, in a much deprived dark tunnel, and this is but a fraction of the issues many of us had to cope with. But the end of 2020 is near, and with it we have many games that even with the world's shitty situation has managed to rise above and become pretty damn fun. Many of these are obvious choices like Doom Eternal, which builds expertly on what the previous title had established, or Final Fantasy VII the Remake, setting a new bar for what we believe a remake can actually behold. And we cannot forget Ghost of Tsushima, my personal game of the year, one of the most breathtakingly artistic games ever released, and I believe one of the most consumer-friendly titles as well. However, these games are known by many. Instead, with my metaphorical microscope, I want to focus in on some of the games I enjoyed playing most, but aren't exactly played by everyone. These are my favorite games of 2020. I hope you enjoy and have a safe and happy New Year's. To start off strong, we have one of the best sci-fi games to release this year, The Surge 2. Now, the original game was a good but flawed experience and was actually one of the first games I covered on my channel. It had many issues, but I did love what they were trying to do with it, which is probably why I've grown so attached to its sequel. This game has surpassed its predecessor by a long distance. Everything I criticized about the first, the lack of intelligent boss design, the lack of story, the sloppy exploration, everything has been more than improved upon. The Surge 2 is filled to the brim with some of the most badass weaponry and armor designs I've seen in a game. The encounters this time around didn't feel cheap. I never got frustrated on where to go or what boss or area to explore next. Exploration is another key note to The Surge 2, and it's done magnificently. And honestly, it has accomplished more than enough to capture my attention and definitely deserves this spot among the other titans that'll soon follow on this list. I have a confession. I've always wanted to live in the Walking Dead universe, or at least experience it from a perspective of a survivor, and this next game bats that idea out of the park, or should I say out of Glenn's head. Bad jokes aside, this next title I'm referencing is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. This is a VR game that has set a new premise for what combat can feel like in virtual reality. In Saints and Sinners, you go through a fully voiced story, going from area to area, looting better weapons, crafting equipment, dealing with other survivors, some friendly, some not so much. This game captures the spirit of the Walking Dead franchise perfectly. You even get to make certain choices that feel very impactful and actually affect your playthrough. This is a full-blown Walking Dead RPG in VR that truly captures the feeling of killing a zombie. It's ironically mind-blowing and more than deserves its spot among the best in 2020. This next game isn't exactly the best in its genre, however, it has somehow stolen way too much of my time this year. I'm talking about Rogue Company, a free-to-play game that is a brilliant mix of Counter-Strike, Apex Legends, and even has some Division 2 thrown in. It's a third-person competitive shooter with matches feeling very similar to CSGO. This game isn't perfect. It doesn't really have a good reward system. You don't really earn skins while playing, at least not yet, but damn, this game is so fun. The characters are well kitted out, they're constantly adding new ones to the roster, and the gameplay is just so entertaining. This game is relatively new, so it has a lot of improving to do in terms of variety and rewards. However, I just couldn't keep this game off my best games list, and I'm honestly in the middle of my review for it as we speak, so look forward to that sometime next week. The game I want to talk about next is, well, it's not really a game, more like a really useful and helpful tool to bring that creativity in your brain to life. The game I'm talking about is Dreams for the PlayStation. I've always wanted to create my own movies, my own games, hence why I have a YouTube channel to begin with. It's my way of bringing ideas or dreams I have passions for to anyone who's willing to watch, and Dreams the game does this and more. I have never touched a game creation toolkit such as Unity, but in Dreams I've been teaching myself how to create an actual game, how to program, how to world build, how to level design. It's so damn cool. This game will teach you anything. You're only limited by your imagination and ambition to learn, and the fact that this thing actually exists is incredible. You can create your own games, animations, art pieces, whatever you want. Not only this, but you could take that project and post it so others can play it. They can rate it, comment on your work, or even collaborate with others on bigger projects. Even if you don't care to create anything, you can play through all the great and horrible things others have made, all within the game itself. I'm positive it will lead to some new ambitious indie developers. Hell, I'm sure it already has. Oh, did I mention it's also fully usable in VR, which makes the experience so much more impactful, and I can't wait to share more about this game in the near future. I've got to be honest, this year I'm ashamed of how little I've played through the many great games that have been released, and I blame it all on one thing. Well, more like one game. This is my game of the year, at least in spirit. Technically, this game was released 2 years ago, but it was released on PS4 this year, and that's how I discovered it, so it's from 2020 in my eyes. I'm talking about Hunt Showdown. This is easily my most played game this year. I have played this game so damn much, I began to forget other games actually exist. That's how addicting this game can be. It's what I like to call a unique, supernatural, competitive FPS that has a main focus on strategical gameplay and wits. Now, I'll run through that again. It's a unique, supernatural, competitive FPS that has a main focus on strategy and wits, as well as reaction time, of course. This game is a bit hard to put into words for me. It's simple yet complicated. I'll try to keep it short as I plan to do a full-scale review for this game eventually, but if you like a shooter that isn't exactly about where you spawn, but instead about how well you pay attention to your surroundings, it isn't about getting the first shot off, but instead about avoiding detection or flanking to be able to get that sneak attack off on your enemy. It's the most intense experience I've had in my years of playing competitive shooters, and I've played them all. This is all because of one simple design philosophy: sound. It's the key to everything in this game. This is the only title I've played where headphones are a must, as directional sound input is very essential in locating your enemy. Now, I suppose surround sound might also do the trick though. To put it simply, in this game you're a bounty hunter trying to hunt down one of the 3 bosses that exist, which more bosses will be added later down the line. These are monstrosities that'll leave you gasping for air. To find your bounty target, you have to first find the 3 clues around the map you've spawned in using endgame mechanics. Now, while finding these clues, you have to deal with the many monsters this world is littered with, and not only that, you also have to keep an eye out for other hunters who are after the same goal as you. Now, I've never had so much frustration-filled fun in a game before, don't get me wrong. This game has a very large number of issues like long ass loading screens, but if this game is refined, if it's optimized and it is decked out with more content, then it's a safe bet that this game will remain a treasure in my library of games. This is probably one of the most memorable games I have. I've never had so much fun just trying to plan out how I want to go about taking over this guy and be able to go into the boss and take out the boss. There's just so many things that can happen, so many things that can go wrong, and it makes you feel like you're actually in the middle of a battlefield fighting with other bounty hunters to try to get your target, and it's just a game I love so much, and I can't wait to share more of this with you guys later. Now, there's many more games I would like to give the spotlight to, for instance Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I don't think this game deserves to be in any top lists, not the worst nor the best, but I can't say I hate the game. To do so would just be a straight lie, and that's one thing I'll never do about my opinion. I'll always be honest about how I feel with the game. I might like it at first, I might love it at first, but I will think about that game constantly, and I will come to a decision that is right for everyone. I won't be sucking the game's dick for no reason, is what I'm trying to say. And Cyberpunk 2077 was a fun game. It was fun, I'm not gonna deny that. I love the characters, I love the weapon design, I love the armor design, I love just going clothes shopping. That game is filled with so many cool things, so much world building that it's actually insane. But again, I'm gonna save that for another video. I want to talk about this stuff more in depth, and I'm taking too much of your time. Now, 2020, as we all know, has been a year filled with controversy after controversy, drama after drama. Not all bad, but I feel for everyone who has had it rough this year. And if you're one of those people, no, you're not alone. But gaming has been the one thing that really serves as the perfect form of escapism. Some games haven't been so great, true. But no matter, it kept our minds occupied, and I would like to thank all the devs and people who will never see this video. Thank you for working as hard as you do to keep the passion for gaming alive. Other things have fallen to COVID this year. Movie theaters, shopping has changed as we know it. Our new normal has been set. However, the one thing that thrived instead of dying is gaming. This goes to show you that gaming isn't something that will easily be defeated. It will thrive even in the worst of times. And for that, I am truly grateful. I just want to close out with a thank you to anyone watching this video. I know I'm not the most consistent person who posts videos, but I do have a passion for getting my thoughts out into the world, and you lousy lot allow me to do just that. Even if it's just one person, I appreciate you taking the time to consider my video, and I wish you nothing but the best in the new year. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out of here.